Whatu naro naro te tangata, Toitu te whenua. As man disappears from sight, the land remains.
In Aotearoa, New Zealand, the land carries names shaped by time. Names howled by mountains, traced by rivers, and etched along the coast. Through the voices of our local runaka, we hear how these names are more than markers. They are living links to ancestry, to place, and to the Māori language today. This series invites us to look again, and to understand the landscape, not as background, but as an ancient story, still carried by those who call it home. This is Toitu te whenua, e kōrero ana te whenua, e whakarongo ana mātou, where the land speaks and we listen. A bird's eye view of Kātiki Point reveals many of its special characteristics. Perhaps that's why so many bird species make it their home. Kaitiaki Patrick Herewini-Tipa and Nola Tipa know them well, both the birds and the land they rest on.
We've got the red-billed and the black-billed gulls here, we've got terns, we've got the hekono, the seals. There's so much other life here on the pā, and you can see just by the sounds and the hearing of it.
The kaupapa matua, or management plan, for the Kātiki Point Reserve names a whole lot of other manu. There are hoiho, yellow-eyed penguin, and kororā, little blues, prion of several species, and titi too. The list goes on.
And Te Rakahine is actually a wildlife reserve and a historical reserve, so it's governed by Te Runanga o Ngaitahu, Te Runanga o Moedaki and the Department of Conservation. So I'm part of that governance group, and Pat is employed to work the land.
They are all working to ensure there will always be a place for them here. He kāinga haumaru, a safe home. But that's just part of the endeavour, because the same bird's eye view reveals that this place was also made for human habitation. A fortress strong enough to have withstood all that Takaroa had thrown against it. Together, Patrick and Nola are working to preserve all that is important and prized about the site.
We've lived here now since about 14 years, since the Christchurch earthquakes, when we moved down here afterwards. And it was, Pat saw this place, and he decided this would be his legacy. He would regenerate everything here at the pā and recreate it.
The pā is Te Raka-a-Hiniatia, a pā tū watawata, a fortified pā associated with the 19th century Ngaitahu rangatira Tāoka, and it is already re-emerging from memory to again sit proudly on the point as a result of Nola Tipa and Patrick Herewini-Tipa's work. So
for the last 10 years he's been planting out, the palisades have been put in.
The palisades reconstructed so far appear to sit naturally here, either side of the neck, a narrow bridge of land above steep cliffs that leads to the furthest reaches of the point's southward leading peninsula.
Some of the revegetation we've been doing is mainly around plant species that can cope with the salt spray. So we have a lot of harakeke, the harder growing species of natives that are grown here. So, but up in the wildlife preserve, there's more variety up there. They have the Nio, tōtara. There are a couple of matai in there, which was sort of like a lot of the stuff we got from the information we got of what was planted here before is from our historical archives.
That name, Te Raka Ahini Atua, tells another story, stepping out of history to maintain an ancient whakapapa.
Te Raka was Maui's father. Hiniatia was Te Raka's mother, so Maui's grandmother.
Among other kōrero tuku iho, stories handed down about Kātiki Point is one recorded at a hui of Kaumatua at Moiraki in 1880. There, Kātiki was described as e kāinga no hoanga, e kāinga mahinga kai, e pā no hoanga tūturu. A habitation, a food-gathering place, a permanent settlement. Today, walking down to the point from the car park, it's easy for visitors' attention to be drawn first to the Kātiki Point lighthouse, then the long thin peninsula beyond the palisades. What these striking features help to obscure is that between the two, you pass through the village terraces that Taoka and his people established here, the clear evidence of a pā nohoanga tūturu, permanent settlement. It is landscaping that survives still.
This place over generations could have housed around 2,000 people, and so it's really important that we try and regenerate the place to what it would have been like back in the day.
Food was abundant hereabouts, both on land and in the sea, including at the neighbouring Waimātaitai Lagoon. Barracuda, ling and red cod were all staples. Seals and shellfish were also on the menu. The island of Mokiakia, just off of Moiraki Peninsula, was a nesting spot for titi.
So they'd go over, harvest the titi, bring them back to the mainland, which was Moiraki, and they would divvy them up between the families that lived here.
Over time, shags came to dominate on Mokiakia, destroying the vegetation the titi needed. But titi are slowly but surely returning to Moiraki. Those who settled around Kātiki also continued to participate in other seasonal food gathering expeditions, perhaps heading up to the neck at Hawea for whitebaiting, and there would have been further trips along the Pounamu trails. As was so often the case elsewhere, sea and land flowed seamlessly into each other in the lives lived at Kātiki.
This out over here was the Tauraka Waka, where they pulled in these big trenches out there, so they pulled their waka in and up onto the hills.
Turning back towards the lighthouse is the hillside terracing where houses stood, the most extensive in southern Te Waipounamu.
They're described as rectangular boxes, slightly slanted to allow for drainage.
Archaeological investigations indicate tōtara was the principal material alongside sandstone paving and stone hearths. Further up the hill, there are two big indents that would have been umu, ground ovens.
Like some of those terraces is where the gardens actually were as well, because the huts were sort of like on, with the bigger areas, but the terraces followed the hillside all the way around so they could get the morning sun.
The pā site was also chosen for its natural defences.
So this was actually a fortified pā, and if you look around the cliff edges and everything, it makes for a really good place to stage a battle. And there is a kōrero that the island, the little island that just offers in times of war, or when a war party was sighted, the women and children went over to the island because you can only access it at low tide, so they were quite safe there. Then the skirmishes would happen here and then they would come back.
The most celebrated of these encounters is the Battle of Tahakopa, sometimes called Te Hakopa. It featured Taoka and the people of Kātiki on one side, and Tāwhaki Te Raki and his war party on the other. Taoka and Tāwhaki Te Raki both descended from chiefly lines within Ngaitahu, and had been near neighbours on the North Canterbury coastline based in Ōmihi and Kaikoura. But an antagonism had developed, leading to Tāoka shifting south, eventually settling at Kātiki. That might have been the end of it.
Tāwhakitaraki decided that he wasn't going to live in peace down here. He came down with the war party. They had this skirmish, and Tāwhakitaraki thought that he would blitz Tauka. It's written somewhere that he thought, he had grown fat from not fighting. So they came down, had the skirmish, and Tauka actually won. That sent Tāwhakitaraki and his men off. The ones that died were eaten, it says in the books.
Adding insult to injury, Tāoka said Tāwhakitaraki was as weak as a ling, a fish that gave little fight when on the hook. It has a rich history, this place a pātaka full of good stories, and Patrick and Nola are determined that they should be shared. That's the vision that they have for the pā, working together with the Department of Conservation and the Runanga. They hope to establish guided tours so visitors leave with the full picture and all their questions answered. The site already has interpretive panels.
But there's nothing better than having a group and doing the kōrero, and because you never know what questions are going to be asked.
And so that was our idea of how to open it up to the world, really.
It will help keep the ancient names associated with this place alive. It is work already well integrated with the couple's efforts.
At different stages over the years I've been working here and planting, I get the different children and groups that come through to sort of like come to visit and learn history. I usually bring them down with a shovel and show them different sections that they plant, and a lot of them over the years have come back and they've noticed a big change in what they've done as well. So that's one way of sort of keeping the interest going with our young people.
It's the passing of whakapapa, names and kōrero that have come down from the successive waves of migration, Rapuwai, Waitaha, Kāti Māmoe and Ngai Tahu.
It's whakapapa. Whakapapa is sort of like, it's our history. Where the name is where the story is. And to keep those names alive, we can continue to share the stories that come with that name.
Because we don't want it lost. We don't want the history to be lost. We want the stories, the names to remain, to be on everybody's lips so that they know when they come to this place what is the story.
In Aotearoa, the land speaks, not out loud but through its names. They're ancient, they're poetic, they carry power. Each one is a part of our whakapapa, passed down by generations who knew this whenua deeply. These names aren't just labels, they're stories. In the rivers, in the mountains, in the land beneath our feet, some were lost over time, others were changed or silenced. But the land never forgot, and neither did the people. This is about listening again, about speaking the names and reconnecting with what has always been here. In the next episode, we keep the journey going, talking with those carrying the kaupapa forward and exploring history through an archaeologist's perspective. This is Toitu te whenua. The land remains, and so do the names.